All right, so we're diving into this West Indies-Scotland match.
Okay.
And yeah, we know the West Indies won,
Right.
but, we always say it's not just about the final score, right?
Exactly.
So we're going to dig into all the details, especially with these Crickbuzz interviews.
Yeah.
We really get a sense of what was going through these players' heads at these key moments.
Definitely. It really adds another layer of intensity when you hear it straight from them.
Totally. And what I find fascinating about this match is the context going in, right?
Absolutely.
We're talking about two teams with completely different pressures on their shoulders.
Yeah, you've got the West Indies coming off a tough loss against South Africa. They needed this win.
Desperate for it.
Big time. And then on the flip side, you got Scotland.
Yeah.
Looking for their first win of the tournament.
Trying to make their mark.
Exactly. So you've got this 8th match of Group B.
At the Dubai International Cricket Stadium.
Yeah, and it's like this clash of urgency versus this burning ambition to prove themselves.
Did it deliver on the excitement?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of those matches that was decided beforehand. You know what I mean?
Right.
This was pure cricketing drama, individual brilliance, the kind of stuff that, honestly, you have to see to believe.
And speaking of brilliance, can we just talk about Chanel Henry for a second?
Oh, where do we even begin?
Player of the match, that almost feels like an understatement.
It really does.
She single-handedly, well, not single-handedly,
Right.
but she really put the team on her back and carried them to victory.
Yeah. And what's amazing is she did it in 2 completely different roles. It's one thing to be a star batter or a star bowler, but she dominated in both.
Okay, so let's start with her bowling, because honestly, I was blown away.
It was masterful. It wasn't just about the wicket she took, but the way she, outsmarted the Scottish batters.
Give me an example.
That slower ball she bowled to Smith.
Yeah.
Just, completely threw her off. Textbook change of pace, completely unexpected.
Yeah, you could see Smith was expecting something totally different.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what made Henry so effective. Her ability to just, read the game, read the batter, and just deliver these unplayable deliveries.
It's like she was one step ahead the entire time.
Exactly.
And then, as if her bowling performance wasn't enough, she comes into bat when the West Indies desperately needed someone to, inject some energy into the innings.
Oh, boy, did she deliver.
It's like she just flipped a switch and went into a completely different mode.
Right. You see those crucial runs she scores, and it's this is someone who understands the game situation perfectly and just steps up when it matters most.
Those are the hallmarks of a true leader right there. I don't care what anyone says.
100%.
Okay, but we can't talk about West Indies batting without talking about Deandra Doughton, the world boss.
Oh, of course not. Talk about explosive power. When she gets going, there's no stopping her.
It's almost like she comes in with this pent-up energy and then bam.
Right.
She just unleashes on the bowlers.
It's incredible to watch. And that's what makes Doughton so dangerous, right? You never know when that explosion's going to come, but when it does,
forget about it.
It's game over.
Those sixes were something else. Honestly, every time she hit one, I was like, is it going to land yet?
I know, right? You could practically feel the momentum shifting with every hit.
For sure.
And her innings were the perfect example of the West Indies strategy. It's they knew when to be aggressive, when to really push the scoring rate.
And they unleashed Doughton at just the right moment.
Exactly. It's they knew, okay, time to hit the gas, time for some fireworks.
Now, I know the final score might make it seem like the West Indies just, walked all over Scotland.
Right.
But we can't forget about the fight that Scotland put up. They were in it to win it, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. They weren't just there to make up the numbers. They had a game plan, and they stuck to it.
Yeah, and they weren't afraid to try different things.
Exactly. Like their bowling changes, right? They kept shuffling their bowlers, trying to keep the West Indies batters guessing.
And it worked to an extent. They made the West Indies work for every run.
They did. And we even saw some amazing individual performances from the Scottish players. Catherine Bryce, for example, with the ball.
Yeah, her bowling figures were seriously impressive. She really stepped up on a big stage.
And for me, that's what makes this match so interesting. Yeah, the West Indies won, but it's those individual performances, those moments of brilliance that tell a bigger story.
And speaking of stories, I love how Crickbuzz got these awesome post-match interviews. It's one thing to speculate about what's going on in their heads, but to actually hear them talk about it, that's gold.
100%.
Yeah.
Gives you a whole new perspective, right?
So let's talk about Chanel Henry's interview. What did she have to say about, being Chanel Henry? Because honestly, she was amazing.
Oh, she was, wasn't she? And her interview, it was really interesting. Obviously, she was thrilled with the win.
As she should be.
Exactly. But what struck me was, like, her humility.
Yeah.
She was quick to credit her teammates, you know?
There's no I in team, as they say.
Exactly. It was a real team effort, and she made sure everyone knew it.
Now, what about Scotland's captain, Catherine Bryce? How is she feeling after the match?
Well, I think she was obviously disappointed with the loss, but you could also see the pride. They'd given it their all, and that counts for something.
Did she talk about what's next for Scotland?
Yeah, she did. And I think that's what I love about this Scottish team. They're fighting spirit. They're not content with just being there. They're hungry to learn,
They will prove they belong.
Exactly. And this tournament, it's such a valuable learning experience for them. Playing against the best in the world in these high-pressure situations, that's invaluable.
It's like a crash course in high-level cricket, right?
Exactly. And I guarantee you they're soaking it all up.
Okay, so we've talked about the individual brilliance, the strategic decisions, the roller coaster of emotions.
It was a lot.
Right. So let's take a step back now and look at the bigger picture. What does this win mean for the West Indies moving forward in this tournament?
I mean, honestly, this win was huge for them.
Bigger than just 2 points on the table.
Oh, way bigger. First of all, after that loss to South Africa, they desperately needed this win to boost their confidence.
Right, got to shake off that loss and get back on track.
Exactly. They were under immense pressure coming into this match, and they delivered. That says a lot about their resilience, their ability to bounce back.
And I bet it did wonders for their team spirit, too. Knowing they can pull off a win like that when their backs are against the wall.
Oh, absolutely. And let's not forget about the impact on their net run rate.
Okay, hold on. For those of us who need a refresher, what exactly IS net run rate?
So basically, it's a way of ranking teams if they end up tied on points. It takes into account not just wins and losses, but also the margin of victory or defeat.
So it's like a tiebreaker system.
Exactly. So a big win like this one for the West Indies, that doesn't just get them 2 points, it gives them a nice little boost to their net run rate, which could be crucial later on in the tournament.
Wow. So even more pressure for those close matches. Okay, so this win wasn't just about beating Scotland. It was about making a statement, about putting themselves in a strong position for the rest of the tournament.
Exactly. It's about momentum,
Yeah.
and they've definitely got it now.
But momentum can be fleeting, right? They've got to keep that energy going.
Absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, how so?
Well, we've seen what they can do, but can they do it consistently? Can they bring that same level of intensity against, say, Australia or England?
Yeah, those are the real heavyweights of the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the matches that will really test the West Indies' mettle.
So while this win was a major step in the right direction, it also brings up a whole bunch of new questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's one thing to beat Scotland,
Right.
but can they bring that same energy, that same focus against the top teams in the world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It's like they've had this secret weapon this whole time with Chanel Henry,
Right.
but now everyone knows how good she is.
The secret's out.
So how do they adapt? Can she keep exceeding those expectations?
And that's what makes these next few matches so exciting.
Yeah.
We'll see if Henry can keep dominating, if the West Indies can, maintain this momentum.
It's going to be fascinating to watch it all unfold.
Absolutely.
We've talked a lot about the West Indies,
Yeah.
but we can't forget about Scotland.
Of course not. They might not have won any matches, but they've shown they belong on this stage.
They've got this fighting spirit that I really admire. You can tell they're learning so much from every match.
Exactly. And that's what's so important for a team like Scotland, still relatively new to this level of competition.
Yeah, they're not just happy to be there, they want to compete.
And they are competing.
Yeah.
They pushed the West Indies hard in this match, and I guarantee you they'll be back even stronger next time.
It's funny how one match can be such a microcosm of the whole sport of cricket,
Totally. You've got the individual brilliance, the strategic battles, the emotional roller coaster.
And those moments, those unforgettable moments, that's what keeps us coming back for more.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So there you have it. The West Indies-Scotland match. It wasn't just about the final score. It was about so much more. We saw the highs and lows, the triumphs and the struggles. And at the end of the day, that's what makes cricket such a captivating sport.
Well said. I'm already excited for our next deep dive.
Me too. Until then, keep exploring, keep analyzing, and most importantly, keep that love for the game alive.